Hey YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've made a video for you guys, but we're back and we're talking about Don't Look Up again. So this will probably be the last Don't Look Up video I ever do. Pretty sure we've covered everything on that topic, but I just wanted to make a compendium of like all the TBS satellite tuner devices that you can use for Don't Look Up. So TBS is a company called Turbosight Shenzhen. It's a Chinese company. And they're known for making like really affordable and very high quality and well performing DVB-S2 tuner cards. And a lot of their product range is actually well suited to using Don't Look Up. So if you guys want to go and see a presentation from the research team that developed the application and wrote the research paper, you can go and check this video out here from 39C3. A thumbnail of one of my videos was actually included in this slide of their presentation, which I think is really cool. So go and check them out. So, all right. So a lot of people have emailed me and commented saying, "Hey Rob, I really want to get into Don't Look Up, but I can't find any hardware. Where can I find these cards?" And people's first natural intuition might be to hit the second-hand market, right? And they might do an eBay search like this and go, "Wow, look at these cards, Rob. 135 bucks for this one, 105 for this one. Wow, 99 for that one. Cool." And then just go and buy one of these. Nuh-uh. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. So we need to make a distinction about something. So these are the packaging boxes that TBS devices come in. And there's a subtle detail on both of these boxes that I want to divert your attention to. So this box on the top is a professional grade card. Okay, you can see here it's got the TBS professional stamp on it, and then this box at the bottom, which is a TBS 5930 box, you can see here that it doesn't say professional, it just says TV tuner. Okay, so that distinction is very important. Okay, we've got professional grade and then we've got TV grade. Okay, professional grade has the hardware and software support to be able to lock onto and receive data transponders, whereas a TBS device that is labeled as a TV tuner only has hardware and software support for watching television, okay? That's a very distinct thing that I want you guys to understand. So that's why just going out and purchasing this card here for 69 bucks, wow, that's a bargain, but in fact, it will not work for what you want it to do, okay? So there's three features that we need, guys, okay? So I'm not a satellite RF engineer, okay? This is just real world stuff that I've learned from my sort of 6 months to 3 years playing with this kind of stuff, okay? So the three things we need are blind scan, okay? So blind scan is the ability of a satellite receiver to search for the presence of a data transponder and negotiate the frequency, symbol rate, and polarity. So we need those three things, those three pieces of information to instruct the tuner chip on the satellite card to lock onto that signal, okay? And then the second thing we need is ACM functionality. So ACM stands for adaptive coding modulation. And ACM basically means that the modulation value and the forward error correction code value will actually change, okay? I'm not really 100% sure why they change. I think it's something to do with like if you've got like weather conditions that are preventing, these sort of more like these more high performing modulations such as A32 APSK. I think if you've got like thick cloud cover and rain, that signal will not penetrate these poor weather conditions, so it can actually switch to like sort of lower and less technical modulations to account for like weather conditions and things like that. I'm fairly certain that's what it is. Something to do with that, but people might want to correct me in the comments. And then the next thing we need is support of modulations up to 32 PSK. So 32 APSK is probably the highest kind of modulation we see here in Australia and Asia. There is other modulations like 64 APSK, but we've never seen that in the wild so far. So 32 APSK, there's heaps of different modulations underneath that. Like you've got QPSK, then you've got 8 PSK and 16 APSK. So those modulations work up to 32 APSK. So if your satellite receiver supports 32 APSK, there's a good chance it supports all the modulations sort of lower down the list, okay? So yeah. Anyway, hope I explained that all right. All right, so when we're working with Don't Look Up, guys, so there's two ways to go about this, okay? So we've got PCIe cards, right? Which you probably have the best chance of finding on the second-hand market because there's a lot of them that you can use. And then we've got also the USB. So the USBs were used by the research team, and we can actually use Linux for that if you just follow my flowchart, okay? So if you've got a USB device, cool, you can use Linux, right? We all love Linux. If you've got a PCIe card, unfortunately, you're locked into the Windows ecosystem, and there's nothing you can do about that, okay? But you can also use USBs with Windows also as well. So I probably should have put an arrow from USB to Windows there. But anyway, so yeah, if you've got a USB, you're in luck. We can use our Linux, our favorite operating system. But if you've got PCIe cards, you're locked into the Windows ecosystem. So you can check these two videos out, depending on what type of hardware you own. All right, so there's two. So we're going to test like all these different kind of cards, right? I've actually got a number of them, and then I know people that have a number of these cards as well. So we're going to do a combination of the cards that I own. There's two cards that a good friend of mine, Alec, owns. And there's also two cards that we've already tested in previous videos on my channel. So my original Don't Look Up video, we tested the 5927. Great. That's the card that the research team used. We don't need to test that. We know that that's the best card on the market for Don't Look Up. And then the second card I actually tested was a TBS 5930. So we're not going to do both of those cards because I've done them already in these videos, okay? And yeah, just another final funny thing that I thought was just funny. I actually found this a few weeks ago. This is a screenshot of somebody in the USA marketing a 6903X as a Don't Look Up ready card. So now Don't Look Up functionality is actually a selling point now on the second-hand market. So I just thought that was really funny. But anyway, this is going to be a long video, guys. So if you don't like long videos, don't watch. And I'll put some timestamps and like I'll do chapters and everything like that. So you can just zap to whichever card you're interested in. So yeah, we're testing a number of cards today. Long video, so we better get stuck into it. I'll see you in the next section. Okay guys, you should be able to see that I am now booted into Linux, and we are going to be checking out this cool satellite tuner card called a TBS 5925. Now, this is sort of the predecessor to the famous 5927. If I just open up my webcam view here, guys. So this is the box here. So luckily for me, this was actually gifted to me by my good friend Alec, but unfortunately he obtained it from a deceased estate. So yeah, very, very sad to hear of a fellow satellite enthusiast passing, but we're going to honor his name by putting this thing to good use, aren't we? So, all right. So if we look at the product page here, guys, so there's a couple of things we need to look for, like I alluded to previously. We need ACM capability, which we're ticking that box, as you can see in the product description. And the second box we need to tick is 32 APSK. That's supposed to say APSK, so don't worry about that. That's just a typo. So yeah. So this thing is very, very well suited to capturing satellite data transponders. So it works really well with Don't Look Up. So I used AI to actually patch us to actually port the TBS 5927 raw payload patch to the 5925. So we're going to demonstrate that right now. Well, we're not going to do everything. We're just going to capture data and decode it. So, all right. So you can see here in my top terminal window here, we have LSUSB command, and that's detecting that we do in fact have a 5925 attached to this machine. And I've also got the list command, just listing my DVB adapters, and the particular adapter we will be using, which is the 5925, is adapter 2. So you guys remember from my original Don't Look Up video, the research team were utilizing DVB-V5 zap. Whoa, that's a mouthful. And yeah, so I'm not going to explain this command really, but basically we're just going to capture some data. So I'm going to hit enter on that. And you can see here that we actually have a transport stream file called dump.ts in our home directory. So we are just going to capture about maybe 20 megabytes. That should be a good sample size. So yeah, we will just wait momentarily for that. And yeah, if you guys want to patch your TBS 5925, make sure you go to my GitHub page and obtain the patch, and then just follow my Don't Look Up video, my original one. Okay, so very quickly, we've obtained 20.7 megabytes. So yeah, very, very cool. Oh, actually 21 megabytes. So excellent. All right, so I've got my commands text document off screen here. So we're not doing anything fancy here, guys. It's just the standard don't look up passing command that I always use. So I will proceed to hit enter on that. And then in this second terminal window here, guys, this is just a T-shark command to show us the packets in real time as they get written to the PCAP file by don't look up. So we'll just wait momentarily for the passing to begin. And there we have it. So I'm going to have to blur that out. But yeah, what I'm seeing on the screen here is basically very typical for satellite IP data. You know, I'm seeing lots of, you know, UDP, some TCP, you know, some SSL, TLS, very, very typical stuff that you see coming down from these satellites. So yeah, we can see here that we've actually had 17,000 baseband frames be captured, and we've extracted 32,500 IP packets from this tiny 20 megabyte file. So that is a very, very good packet recovery rate. So does this thing work? Absolutely it does. Yeah, being the predecessor to the 5927, I believe the hardware is very similar. It just looks different. So yeah, absolutely bargain buy if you can find this on the second-hand market. They're no longer sold. I think they came out in 2012 or something like that. So very, very old. But yeah, great piece of hardware. Excellent. So yeah, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Okay, guys. So now I am remotely logging into a buddy of mine named Alec. He's graciously allowed me to remote control into his PC to show you guys this very, very cool satellite card called a TBS 6983. Now, this card was basically the OG of the professional cards. You know, it's been out for quite a while now. If we just look at the product page, guys, you'll see it's got all the good stuff. Like, we've got ACM, we've got 32 APSK, blind scanning, RF scanning, all the good stuff. So that's excellent. So I'll just minimize that now, and I'll turn my attention to the device manager now, and you'll see here that the TBS 6983 is installed and available to us. And if I just go to the EBS Pro window, guys, these are the LMB parameters that Alec has configured. And if I just go to the RF scan tab, we'll just simply do an RF scan. So I like RF scanning because obviously we can't see satellites. We can't see the signals they're beaming down to us. So when we get the satellite signals represented on an FFT window like this, that's just a confirmatory test to say, yep, your satellite dish can see a satellite up there in orbit. This particular satellite has no horizontal polarity transponders either, only vertical, and that'll become apparent to us in a moment. Okay, cool. So this satellite's got a mixture of TV and data transponders. So how do we find those transponders anyway? Well, let's do a blind scan, guys. So if I go to the Discover tab and I go to Scan Ranges, you'll see here that I have 2 scan ranges configured that cover the entire KU band RF spectrum on horizontal and vertical. And I will just go to the Blind Scanner tab and we'll hit Start. And I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, we've got some transponders coming in now. Outstanding. So about 2 minutes and 9 seconds, guys. We've scanned over 2 gigahertz 2 times. So yeah, very, very fast line scanning there. Excellent. So yeah, let's just follow our typical workflow, guys. So we'll sort by signal to noise, and we'll just target probably the first strongest ACM coding type transponder. So that's excellent. So I'll just go down here to the control panel. I'll just confirm that raw data handling is ticked. I'll double click on the transponder that I want to target. And then I will press this button here, and then we go to TS grabber. And then let's see how long it takes to grab. It's sending pretty fast, so I think we'll grab about 10 megabytes. That sounds good to me. Outstanding. So we've just in 27 seconds, we've accumulated 10.4 megabytes of satellite data. That's excellent. So you'll see here that that TS file was created in our don't look up directory there. So just like the other videos or the other segments of this video, we'll just go to our terminal window, and then we will just press enter on that command. This computer should be a little bit beefier than my computer. My computer's in my home, so yeah, it shouldn't take too long, hopefully. There we go, outstanding. So we recorded about 8,500 baseband frames, and we've extracted 15,000 IP packets. So yeah, very, very good data recovery rate there. So let's go to the output folder, and then let's find the PCAP file that was just generated for us. And yeah, there we have it. There we have it, everybody. So that's it. Oh, I'm going to have to blur my face out. Never mind. That's okay. I'm sure you guys don't care. But yeah, I'll have to blur this out, guys. But yeah, what I'm looking at here is very typical for a satellite transponder that we get here in Australia. Lots of HTTP, lots of DNS. Yeah, probably some SIP in there, I dare say, maybe. SSL, very, very typical stuff there. So, okay. That's demonstrating the very awesome 6983. And yeah, let's move on to the next portion of the video. Thanks. Okay, guys, so we're booted into Windows 10 now, and we're going to be checking out this very, very cool satellite tuner called a TBS 6903. Now, it's a PCIe card, obviously, so hence why we're using the Windows workflow for Don't Look Up. So here's the box. You can see here that it's got the professional label on it, and I obtained this from eBay from the United States. So yeah, these desirable cards do come up on the second-hand market every now and then, guys. You just have to be patient. Okay, so if we check out the product page here, guys, and we go to the specifications tab, you can see here that we have all the good stuff we need for Don't Look Up. We've got 32 APSK modulation, and we've got ACM capability. That's excellent. All right, as per my device manager, guys, you can see here that I have my TBS 6903 installed and working. And welcome to EBS Pro. I've got my satellite dish connected to Tuner 0 on this particular card, guys, and I've got Tuner 0 selected in the device selection drop-down menu there. So, and here's my LNB settings. And the first thing I'm going to test is RF scan. So RF scan's a really, really fun way of being able to see if your dish can actually see a satellite. So it's scanning horizontal now. Horizontal polarization. Or polarity, as we call it in the industry. Excellent. There we have it, guys. So there we've got some very, very pronounced spikes in the FFT window here. So all these are satellite signals, which is great. So the next thing I like to, well, not that I like to play with it, but the thing that is very, very valuable to a satellite enthusiast is blind scanning. So if we go to our scan ranges here, you'll just see that I've got two scan ranges configured for KU band 10.7 gigahertz to 12.75 on both horizontal and vertical polarity. So I will just go to the blind scan tab here and then just press start, and you'll see how blazingly fast these cards pull in satellite transponders. Okay, guys, you can see here that it's starting to pull in a lot of transponders now, and it should finish about now, I think. Okay, so that finished in just under 3 minutes. Now, we just scanned 2.05 gigahertz of spectrum, so that's actually a very, very wide range of just scans. So I think 3 minutes is pretty damn good, I think. So, okay, now that we've done our blind scan now, so how do we target transponders for Don't Look Up? Now, I've got a simple workflow that I use for this. I sort by signal to noise. So where the highest, so strongest signal to noise to lowest signal to noise. Signal to noise is a measurement of how intense and how powerful a received signal is. So I always sort by signal to noise, where the highest value is at the top and the signal to noise values drop progressively towards the bottom. And then I target these ones in the coding column called ACM, right? So CCM is constant coding modulation. That's just for TV, okay? ACM is for data, okay? So ACM are the ones that you target. So you can see here that we've actually got just two ACM transponders on this. So I know for a fact that this one here actually has data on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the control panel down here. I'm just going to ensure that raw data handling is ticked. So typically, for receiving data, you want this value ticked, and if you want to watch television, you have to untick that, okay? So I'm going to double click on that transponder, and we'll wait until my TBS 6903 gets a lock, and then I'm going to go down to this menu here. I'm going to click on TS grabber, and then I'm going to move this over here, and then I'm just going to hit record, and we will just wait. We'll see how quickly data comes in, and then we might just capture maybe 10 megabytes on this transponder. And I forgot to mention, you guys should see, because I'm saving the transport stream file into my Don't Look Up program folder, you can see here that we've actually got this file here that is currently being written to with data. Okay, guys, you should be able to see that in 1 minute and 46 seconds, we've actually obtained 10.3 megabytes of satellite data. So that's very, very cool. So we don't require these two windows now, guys. So I'll just proceed to close them. And then we are going to open up our PowerShell window. So you can see here that have launched an administrator PowerShell terminal window there. And then this is just a generic command that will search for any transport stream files in your Don't Look Up directory and then just pass them with Don't Look Up. So I'll just hit enter on that command there. And then we'll just be patient and wait for the parsing to complete. Okay, so you can see here from nearly 35,000 baseband frames, we've actually extracted 12,000 IP packets. So yeah, it's not the best packet recovery on this transponder, but hey, we should get something. So Don't Look Up always outputs its extracted PCAP files into the output folder inside the Don't Look Up folder. So we will just double click our PCAP file, and then I will have to blur that out for you guys. But yeah, we have satellite internet traffic there. So yeah, very, very, very cool. Yeah, all right, no worries. So that is the fantastic TBS 6903 put to the test. Let's move on to the next device, guys. See you soon. Okay, guys, so I'm booted into Windows 10 on a machine that has this card in it. This is called a TBS 6908. Now, this is the bigger brother of the 6903. 6903 is dual tuner, and this card here is quad tuner. So, yeah, it's very, very nice card. This is probably the jewel in my satellite receiver crown. So, I'll just show you the box. So, yeah, there's the box. So this actually came from Japan. This was in a used state. I got this from Yahoo Auctions. My friend Cameron actually found me the initial auction. And yeah, so that's the box there. It's a PCI-e card. And you can see here that it's got the signature professional text on the box. So yeah, this thing will work really, really well for Don't Look Up. So if we go to the product page, guys, you can see it's got all the good stuff we need. It's got ACM, VCM, and 32 APSK. And if we just go to the specifications page, yeah, you can get some more information about that. So, minimize my browser yet again. And then you'll see here, in my device manager, I've got my TBS 6908. Now, I've only got one satellite dish connected to this card at the moment, and that is on Tuner 2. So I've got that selected in my tuner selection. These are my LMB settings. And let's just do a simple RF scan, shall we? So I'm not telling you guys what satellites I'm pointing at in these videos because I don't want people to recreate my workflow. So you can see here at the end, we've got a couple of horizontal signals here. Should be a lot more vertical signals. And there we have it. That is RF scan. So next thing we'll do, right? So blind scanning. This is how we actually find the presence of a data transponder in the first place. We go to the Discover tab. Here's my blind scan settings if you guys want to emulate those. And then I'll go back to the blind scan tab, and then I will just hit start on that, and we'll see how quickly it pulls in transponders. Okay, guys, so as you can see here, so we've scanned over 2 gigahertz of KU band spectrum in a whopping 2 minutes. So that is phenomenal. And yeah, you can see here that looking in the coding column here, we don't actually have any traditional TV transponders. These are all data. So yeah, we'll just simply work through my workflow, which is sort the SNR column by signal to noise, and stronger signals will get better results. And I'll just target the first transponder pretty much. Actually, I'll target this one here, 12654. So I'll proceed to double click that to lock the signal. So I don't know why this appeared down there. Sorry about that. So I've locked that signal there. You can see we've got a great signal of 13.8 dB. We'll just go down to this control menu and then just ensure that raw data handling is ticked. And then we go to this little menu here and we go TS grabber. And then I'll just hit record. And then we should very quickly get a lot of data written. So we'll just get probably 10 megabytes just to keep the tutorial nice and short. You can see here that here is the transport stream file getting written in my Don't Look Up directory. And already in 19 seconds, we've accumulated over 10 megabytes of data. So that's excellent. So I'll quit the TS grabber tab. I'll quit the signal analyzer tab. And then we will bring up our terminal, Windows terminal. And then I'll just hit enter on this generic command, which will pass this captured TS file. And then we'll just wait for the parsing process to complete. Okay, guys, so you can see here we've captured 14,500 baseband frames and we've extracted 5,000 IP packets. So yeah, not the best data recovery rate, but yeah, we'll get something usable out of that for sure. So we'll just browse to our output folder and then locate the PCAP file, double click on that. And then we have satellite IP data. So I'll just, obviously, because I can't show you this, but yeah, what I'm looking at here, we've got some, what have we got here? We've got some SIP packets. We've got lots of DNS requests. And yeah, things of that nature. So yeah, very typical for what we see on the satellites here in Australia. So that's it. That's it. Thanks for checking out this cool 6908. So that concludes all the things that we're doing on my machines now. So I actually have to utilize some good friends of mine's computers located in other places in Australia. So yeah, thanks very much, and I'll see you guys in a second. Okay guys, welcome to the last device that we're going to be showcasing. So this is a TBS 6903, and my good friend Alec has once again allowed me to remote into his satellite server PC where he has a TBS 6903X installed. Now this is a card that you guys can buy today to get online with Don't Look Up. However, there's a few caveats. So if I just scroll down to the features section of the product page, we can see it's got all the good stuff like ACM and 32 APSK. That's great. TBS does claim it can blind scan. Now that is a dubious claim, and it will demonstrate this for you very shortly, but this is wrong. Okay, a lot of people, you can do a Google search and you will see just pages and pages and pages of Google search results of people complaining about the blind scan on this card. So that's a very dubious claim. Now, these cards are considered broken. They're outrageously expensive for what they are. I don't think they're worth it, just quietly, because they're outclassed in every single metric by the previous cards I've showcased in this video. And they're so broken, in fact, that people have taken it upon themselves to try and fix it by desoldering components from the PCB, adding new capacitors and such. So there's also been a bit of work by Crazy Cat, who is a Ukrainian satellite developer. He's basically the crutch that holds up the entire satellite scene these days. He's been doing a lot of work in trying to fix the 6903X, and so has Deep Thought, who is the developer of Pneumo DVB, a Linux application. Both of those guys have been doing a lot of work to try and get these cards fixed, but I don't know, they're still considered to be garbage from what I'm led to believe. And we're going to showcase how garbage these things are exactly in this video. So, okay, so this is the device manager on Alec's server. You can see here that we have the 6903X dual tuner which is installed and available to us in Windows. So this is the LMB settings that we are using. And then we're just going to do something very simple, like perform a RF scan. So we're going to scan both horizontal and vertical. It's a bit slow off the mark there, but once it gets going, it's the RF scan's actually really, really fast. I'm actually pretty impressed by the RF scan. Great. All right, cool. All right, so that's RF scanning. And we can see here that we only had steps of 1 megahertz too, and you see how fast the it RF scan, that's probably the only feature that this card has over the previous cards that I showcased previously. All right, cool. So let's do a blind scan. So I'm going to scan 10.7 gigahertz to 12.75 on both horizontal and vertical polarity. And then I'm simply going to go to the blind scanner tab and press start, and we'll see how long this takes. Okay, so, it took us 2 minutes to scan the the KU band RF spectrum, and it's only found 2 transponders. There should be 5. However, I did a blind scan about an hour ago, and it actually found all of them. So this card is so strange. Like, sometimes it works, and then other times it doesn't, and then, yeah, I can't explain it. No one who owns these cards can explain the behavior. Most people use the word flaky or shaky in its performance. Sometimes it's like the best card they've ever owned, and then other days it just will not work for anything. It's very, very strange. But anyway, so I've noticed a bug with this card, right? So this is the data transponder that I want to target. So if I double click it, it doesn't lock, okay? It's very strange. So there's no lock here, right? So we'll just give it a minute. It's very slow. So it's not locked, okay? But I figured out something, right? So if you try and lock so if you power up the card from a non-powered state, so just say you start EBS Pro for the first time when you're about to start your satellite hobby for the day, what you have to do to target the data transponders is you have to do a dummy lock on a TV transponder, right? So this is a TV transponder here, right? Okay, and we can see that it locked very quickly and straight away. All right, so that's great. All right. Now, if I go back to the data transponder, watch what happens. If you give it a minute. Oh, it didn't work that time. Okay. All right. Let me do some troubleshooting quickly. So I'll lock this TV transponder again. Okay, cool. So we've got all the channels coming up, right? So you might have to untick raw data handling first, okay? So make sure that's not selected in the control panel menu. Okay, close the signal analyzer, go back to the data transponder you want to target and double click it. So this was working about oh, there you go, see? See that? So strange. So that's a little workaround I found for not being able to lock data transponders. So now that we've got a lock finally, all right, we will go down to the control panel menu down here. We'll tick raw data handling, okay? And then we will click this little menu here. We'll go TS grabber. And then we'll just probably grab 20 megabytes of data because it's sending pretty fast. And you can see here in my don't look up folder that we have the transport stream file growing pretty rapidly. We've almost got 10 megabytes in about 12 seconds. So we'll just wait momentarily. Righto, so we got 21 megabytes in 27 seconds, so that's great. So, all right, so we don't need all this now. So I'll just close that. And I'll bring up my PowerShell window here, and I've just got the generic command to pass all transport stream files found in the don't look up folder, and then yeah, we'll just wait. Okay guys, so don't look up has finished passing this transport stream file right here, and we've got 15,000 baseband frames, and we have almost 30,000 packets recovered. So that's actually a really, really good packet recovery rate. So, all right, so if I just go to the output folder, and we will see that the PCAP file has been generated. And then, yeah, I'll just open up this and we'll just have a quick look. And then we have it, satellite data. So I'll just give you a quick overview of what I'm looking at here because I'll have to blur that out. But yeah, it's pretty typical for a maritime beam, I think this one is. So it might service like ships on the you know, like ocean marine vessels on the water. So we've got lots of SSL, we've got some quick, and then yeah, we've got some DNS requests and things of that nature. So yeah, okay, cool. So that's the garbage 6903X demonstrated for you guys. So yeah, all right. So that's all the cards I have to showcase. So yeah, we'll get to the final act and we'll do some summing up. Okay guys, if you've stuck around this long to almost the end of the video, I thank you very much. But I've just compiled this table here. I'm not going to read it all out because this video is just getting hectic in length. But I think the moral of the story is with this graph is like the two desirable cards that you can purchase today to get started with Don't Look Up are the 5930, which is here, and the 6903. And both of those cards, I rate them poor for Don't Look Up. So unfortunately, you're probably going to have to hit the second-hand market, I'm afraid. And these cards often don't come up on the second-hand market. But if you know where to look and you set up some automatic alerts, maybe like on eBay or something like that, you might have some luck. So, all right. So I just wanted to give some honorable mentions because I don't know anybody that has this card, or these cards, should I say. But the TBS 6925 was a desirable card from back in the day. I don't think these hit the market that often, because I've read a lot about they had like maybe like manufacturing defects, and this guy here chronicled his the demise of his 6925 too. So I never see these in the wild very often, because I believe they have problems with manufacturing, potentially like defects or something. So and yeah, so if you're going to hit eBay looking for one of these 6925s, avoid the VE, okay? All the ones on eBay are VEs. I'm not sure what VEs are. I did read some unconfirmed reports. They were kind of like a pre-production sample that they would send out to, you know, potential resellers or something like that. But I can't vouch for these. And for the price of $39, I highly doubt it performs like the non-VE model. So, and yeah, the other honorable mention I'll just show you quickly is the 6909X. So this is the quad tuner big brother of the 6903X. And if you just don't forget, if we revert to my my table here, I'll just say that, yeah, that's very, very poor. And the reasons for that hardware being poor is like the blind scan doesn't work properly, EBS Pro doesn't work properly. It just plain refuses to lock transponders sometimes, and that price is outrageous. The 6903X is like nearly 500 Australian dollars, and I believe these ones here are about 700 or 800 Australian dollars. I can't justify that price. Yeah, but anyway. So yeah, thanks for sticking around this long in the video, guys. I hope that helped somebody. This video was a nightmare to make, but I'm glad it's over and done with. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.